Reports that Trump experienced chest discomfort at Walter Reed visit. White House says he's healthy. A contributor for The Hill is claiming that President Donald Trump visited the hospital after feeling chest discomfort. The White House has issued a statement on Trump's Saturday visit to Walter Reed Hospital, saying that the president is healthy and fine. Trump tweeted that he was visiting with a young man under surgery at the Walter Reed Medical Center. Visited a great family of a young man under major surgery at the amazing Walter Reed Medical Center. Those are truly some of the best doctors anywhere in the world. Also began phase 1 of my yearly physical. Everything very good. Great. Will complete next year. He said that he began phase 1 of his yearly physical and will complete next year. Hashtag breaking news sources tell me from Walter Reed the president was being checked out for chest discomfort. No other information available at this time, Andrew Vernon wrote on Twitter on the evening of November 16, 2019. Vernon's Twitter page profile says that he is President and CEO opinion contributor at The Hill, Columbia MSPH alum and University of Maine alum, U.S. Army veteran, hashtag GoHabsGo. The tweet by Andrew Vernon started an avalanche of comments on social media and other news sources calling Trump's trip to Walter Reed unusual. Jonathan Wackrow, a CNN law enforcement analyst who wrote about the White House statements on the president's trip to Walter Reed, this does not add up. The White House Medical Unit has very comprehensive facilities at the White House complex that could easily accommodate most of what's needed in an annual physical. As a former USSS agent assigned POTUS, I have never seen the annual formality occur in such stages. CNN reported that the exam was not listed on Trump's schedule. The president also allegedly spent 2 hours at Walter Reed. The White House officially confirmed that President Trump did visit Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. The White House said that the president was healthy and went to the hospital to begin portions of his routine annual physical exam at Walter Reed. The New York Post has called the visit a surprise. Vernon describes himself as a career employee at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs for 7 years. Vernon is principal for Veteran and Military Affairs at Andrew Vernon and Associates. He holds a master's degree in education from the University of Maine and a master's degree in health administration from the Columbia University Joseph L. Mailman School of Public Health. You can find him on Twitter at Vernon_Andrew J. Vernon has previously tweeted things critical of the president. CNN reported that Trump went to Walter Reed for a quick exam. Anticipating a very busy 2020, the president is taking advantage of a free weekend here in Washington, D.C. to begin portions of his routine annual physical exam at Walter Reed, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham wrote. After a quick exam and labs, the president is heading back downtown. The president remains healthy and energetic without complaints, as demonstrated by his repeated vigorous rally performances in front of thousands of Americans several times a week, Grisham was quoted as saying. As previously reported, Trump was declared as healthy after his last physical exam in February of 2019. I am happy to announce the President of the United States is in very good health, and I anticipate he will remain so for the duration of his presidency and beyond, Dr. Sean Conley, the president's physician, wrote then. What do you think about this? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Latest News Channel. Thanks for watching.
The White House on Monday released a note from President Trump's physician seeking to dispel speculation about his physical state after he made an unannounced trip to Walter Reed for exams over the weekend. Navy Commander Sean Conley, the physician to the president, said in a letter released by the White House, quote, "Despite some of the speculation, the president has not had any chest pain, nor was he evaluated or treated for any urgent or acute issues. The visit was part of a, quote, routine planned interim checkup." According to Conley, Trump did not undergo any specialized heart or neurological evaluations during his roughly 3-hour stop at the medical center. Trump on Saturday visited Walter Reed for what the White House said was portions of his annual exam.
President Trump may have had a health scare over the weekend. This is quite a story. Now, I will say up front, this hasn't been verified by multiple sources, but there's one source which I'll give you more information on this source, and it leads me to believe this source is legit, okay? But beyond that, there are just things that don't add up, which lead me to believe this is definitely a health scare. Something happened, and he had to go to the hospital. So first, let me play a little CNN clip for you here. Sanjay Gupta weighs in at some point in this clip, and then I'll come back and give you more specific information about who the source is and more.
The president heading to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center to undergo his annual physical exam a little bit early, according to the White House. In previous years, he's done it in January or in February the past 2 years. But what is more unusual today is the fact that it was unannounced. Reporters traveling with the president were under direction not to report the movement until they arrived at Walter Reed. And in previous years, this has actually been publicly announced. It's been on his public schedule the day before, announced by the White House ahead of time. So a little bit strange circumstances. The White House has declined to say if there is any other issue at play here, instead directing us to the statement from the White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham saying that anticipating a very busy 2020, the president is taking advantage of a free weekend here in Washington to begin portions of his routine annual physical exam at Walter Reed. So again, according to the White House here, all this is the president getting ahead of things here, anticipating a busy year next year. Anna.
Jeremy, stand by. Let me bring in Dr. Sanjay Gupta. As we hear Jeremy's reporting, very little information, Dr. Gupta, about all of this. But again, 9 months ago was his last physical. The previous two have been announced ahead of time. This is coming on a day in which he just sort of jetted off, and we're all left to wonder what's going on, and only finding out after the fact that that's where he was headed. What are your thoughts about how this has transpired and what, we should expect coming out of this?
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a bit curious. I would like to know, did the medical team at Walter Reed, had they been planning for this, planning for a presidential visit to Walter Reed? Process, as Jeremy mentioned, did they know far ahead of time as they usually do, or were they sort of told about it today? That would be an important question to know. It's unusual in that it's early, typically it's a yearly physical. There's many routine tests that can be done at the White House. So if he's going to Walter Reed, what were the specific tests? Things like scanning, those types of things can be done at Walter Reed that maybe can't be done at the White House. We know he has a common form of heart disease. Was there a particular test that was being done for that? Or, was he having some sort of symptoms? Nobody is suggesting that he had any kind of symptoms. But if someone goes into the hospital a few months early, I think that would be a reasonable question to ask as well. But I'd really like to know, when did the medical team at Walter Reed, who would, again, usually spend a lot of time preparing for this sort of thing, when did they know about this? And again, we don't have the answer to that question right now.
Heavy.com reported the following. Trump chest discomfort claim after Walter Reed visit. Whoa. So Andrew Vernon is the source. And he said, breaking news, sources tell me from Walter Reed the president was being checked out for chest discomfort. No other information is available at this time. So the obvious question is, who's this Andrew Vernon guy? Well, Vernon used to work at the VA in the position of coordinator and cardiopulmonary rehabilitation therapist with the Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation Service. So he would know people who are there. That's what that means. That means that he would know people who are there. He would have sources there. Now, is it a guy who just randomly decided to make this claim, this allegation? I think that's pretty unlikely, to be honest with you. Now, one of the things that I think the right will use to combat this idea is that this guy, Andrew Vernon, when you go through more of his stuff, he's a Bernie Sanders supporter. But when I look at that, my thought process is more of like, oh, then I believe him more. Why? Because if he's a Bernie Sanders supporter, he's like spending his time thinking about like raising the minimum wage and Medicare for all. He's not going to come up with some fake accusation against the president. So if anything, that leads me to believe him more. Now, Trump came out because he saw that this news got out a little bit in some places. By the way, almost all the major outlets are like not talking about this at all. Okay, by the way, nothing on his schedule today, nothing on his schedule tomorrow either, Trump. That's a little curious too. But Trump said, visited a great family of a young man under major surgery at the amazing Walter Reed Medical Center. Those are truly some of the best doctors anywhere in the world. Also began phase 1 of my yearly physical. Everything very good. Great. We'll complete next year. A lot of people pointed out, well, hold on, man. There's no such thing as portions of your portions of your annual exam. No, when you have an annual exam, you go and you knock it out in one shot. That's it. Completed portions of my annual exam. And other people have pointed out, hey, the time differentiation, he usually has his physical in February or January, and we're in November. I mean, there are a bunch of questions here. He's also a 70-some-odd-year-old man who's overweight, and there's plenty of evidence to suggest that he does uppers, some amphetamine-type thing, whether it's the UK version of Sudafed or whether it's Adderall. He does some sort of uppers. He's a 70-some-odd-year-old man. He's fat. He loves fast food. Sanjay Gupta said his records show that he does have a version of heart disease, which is nothing if you have it under control and you take your medicine and all that stuff. But is it possible that he had chest discomfort? Is it possible that he went to the hospital for that? Absolutely. Especially because, guys, for most issues that a president would face, most common things, there's a medical facility in the White House, of course. So for him to go to Walter Reed means it could have been serious. Whatever he was feeling could have been serious. And we know how untruthful he is and how, like, he will... The last thing dude would tell you is the truth. He'll give you 1,000 lies before he gives you the truth. And would this be something that he would want to hide? Yes. He's Donald Trump. Of course he'd want to hide it. Because he wants to project this vision of himself as, like, you know, almost like superhuman. And in many ways, by the way, it kind of works. Because I've even said it, like, oh my God, he has so much energy. He's 70-some-odd years old. He's going to rallies all over the place. Like, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how you do it. Same with, I don't know how Bernie does it either. I mean, these guys are amazing. These guys are incredible. But yeah, like, he is human. And he's subject to the same laws of nature that you and I are. So, who knows what happened here, but I had to share with you because I find a lot of this stuff curious, a lot of this stuff fascinating. Now, it is possible that, you know, I think a likely scenario is maybe he was experiencing chest discomfort and he went there and they said, okay, they did tests on him or whatever, and they're like, okay, but it's not a heart attack, so that's good. But maybe it was something from stress or whatever. Like, maybe it was something that turned out not to be the worst case scenario, which is a heart attack. That's possible too. But let's just say I personally don't believe what they're saying, what the Trump White House is saying, because I do think that they would definitely try to cover something like this up. So anyway, there you go. There are the facts. You make up your own mind, and we'll see what happens moving forward because he, again, has nothing on his schedule today, nothing on his schedule tomorrow. So we'll see the next time we see him in public and what updated story they give here, because this certainly isn't making sense.
Now, we got this just come in a couple of minutes ago. Trump chest discomfort claim after Walter Reed visit. Okay, says a contributor for The Hill who writes on Veterans Affairs and used to work for the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is claiming that Donald Trump visited the Walter Reed Medical Center due to chest discomfort. That's a different story from the White House statement on Trump's November 16th visit, which said Trump was undergoing portions of a routine exam. Around midnight, Trump himself tweeted, visited a great family, everything great. There's the tweet that he sent tonight at around 9. Here's the context behind the chest discomfort tweet. Breaking news sources tell the president was being checked out for chest discomfort. No other information is available at this time. According to the article, sources tell me that the Walter Reed, the president was being checked out for chest discomfort. Andrew Vernon. Okay, you gotta see who this guy is. Has not been confirmed. So much for HIPAA laws, I guess. For starters, he usually has his physical in January or February. They're saying it's a little odd that he went in November, and that they're being a little disingenuous about this? I don't know. Interesting. Wonder what brought this about. There's another tweet. Well, there's a lot of spec. Gets his physical. I'll keep you posted. Is this the new one? Is this possibly something new? That he's unhealthy for the job. Is this next on the table? Is this next? I mean, he's in the 70s. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Like I said, Trump is in his 70s. I'm not sure what his diet is, but he does like that McDonald's shit, fast food. Not exactly the best thing to eat. He has a very high-paced job. But is this the next thing? Is this the next thing that's coming up? That he's not healthy to do the job because the Ukraine thing, impeachment's falling apart. So is this next up? Who knows? Or maybe he really did have chest pains. You don't know what to believe.
Donald Trump's doctor may have just given away that Trump really was taken to the hospital for chest pains. This weekend, Donald Trump was unexpectedly taken to Walter Reed Medical Center for what the Trump regime initially claimed was an early jump on his February 2020 physical, and then, after no one believed that absurd excuse, later claimed it was because Trump wanted to visit a military family. The scandal was set to get lost in the haze of this week's impeachment hearings, until Trump's doctor went and made it even worse tonight. Donald Trump's doctor has just released a statement asserting that the secrecy surrounding Trump's trip to the hospital was because of scheduling uncertainties. An explanation so lame and ridiculous, we can't believe he actually went with it. Trump's doctor went on to say that despite some of the speculation, the president has not had any chest pain, nor was he evaluated or treated for any urgent or acute issues. Wait here a minute. While some in the Main Street media have been questioning why Trump's hospital visit was so secretive and bizarre, no one in the media has been talking about the possibility of Trump having chest pains. That discussion only took place on Twitter, where an opinion writer for The Hill claimed that a source had told him it was chest pains. And after no one else was able to verify this, the claim ended up dying out. Yet now Donald Trump's doctor is suddenly introducing the chest pains narrative into the mainstream media. Just to deny it? This suggests that it was chest pains, or else Trump's doctor wouldn't bother to specifically say that it wasn't. Oops.
Mystery of Donald Trump's Walter Reed Hospital visit deepens. Earlier today, Donald Trump was unexpectedly taken to Walter Reed Hospital. The White House claimed that he had spontaneously decided to get portions of his annual physical done 3 months early. A nonsense explanation which gives away that something is very wrong with this situation. Now, the mystery has only grown deeper. For instance, CNN analyst Jonathan Rackrow explained that the White House medical unit has very comprehensive facilities at the White House complex that could easily accommodate most of what is needed in an annual physical, adding that this does not add up. Meanwhile, the Hill opinion writer Andrew Vernon tweets that sources tell me from Walter Reed the president was being checked out for chest discomfort. We're not familiar with Vernon, so we're not quite sure what to make of this claims, but it has gone viral. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham claims that Donald Trump is fine and has returned to the White House, but her constant track record of lying means that she can't be believed. Tom Joseph pointed out that the White House press pool does not appear to have visually confirmed that Donald Trump actually returned to the White House. The bottom line is that we don't know for sure what's going on, but it's becoming more clear by the hour that something is off here. Donald Trump could have a major health scare tonight that the White House is trying to cover up, or he could have staged the physical as a stunt to try to distract from his worsening impeachment headlines. Or he could be laying the groundwork for resigning over health reasons, while cutting a resignation plea deal. One thing is for sure, the Trump regimen is terrible at keeping secrets, so we'll find out the real story eventually.
Donald Trump's doctor may just have given away that Trump really was taken to the hospital for chest pains. This weekend, Donald Trump was unexpectedly taken to Walter Reed Medical Center for what the Trump regime initially claimed was an early jump on his February 2020 physical, and then, after no one believed that absurd excuse, later claimed it was because Trump wanted to visit a military family. The scandal was set to get lost in the haze of this week's impeachment hearings, until Trump's doctor went and made it even worse tonight. Donald Trump's doctor has just released a statement asserting that the secrecy surrounding Trump's trip to the hospital was because of scheduling uncertainties, an explanation so lame and ridiculous we can't believe he actually went with it. Trump's doctor went on to say that despite some of the speculation, the president has not had any chest pain, nor was he evaluated or treated for any urgent or acute issues. Wait a minute here. While some in the mainstream media have been questioning why Trump's hospital visit was so secretive and bizarre, no one in the media has been talking about the possibility of Trump having chest pains. That discussion only took place on Twitter, where an opinion writer for The Hill claimed that a source had told him it was chest pains, and after no one else was able to verify this, the claim ended up dying out. Yet now Donald Trump's doctor is suddenly introducing the chest pains narrative into the mainstream media, just to deny it. This suggests that it was chest pains, or else Trump's doctor wouldn't bother to specifically say that it wasn't. Oops.